Hello, good morning children. So in the last class we discussed the first part of the botanical nomenclature. Now you know what is botanical nomenclature, international botanical nomenclature, international code of botanical nomenclature is now known as international code of nomenclature for plants, fungi, etc. Okay. So now what is the ICBN become ICN, and you know the latest codes, Melbourne codes and Shenzhen code, and the important features, what a code includes, what are the divisions, then preamble, division 1 principles, then division 2 rules and recommendations, then provisions for changes, appendices and everything we discussed in the first part. Now we are going to discuss the very important session, that is rules, coming under division 2 of the ICN. Okay. So in this first one, the first chapter of the division of rules is the ranks of taxa. So you know what is a taxa and what is rank. You know, in our daily situations, when you just look upon in the department of police, you can see there are different ranks like CI, SI, DIG, etc. So in each rank there are different people working. So in our education institution is also like that. Principal, teachers, non-teaching, attenders, last grade servants, etc. So these are the ranks. Similarly, in this botanical nomenclature, the first rule is that ranks of taxa. The taxonomic group of any rank will be referred as taxa. Taxonomic group of any rank is referred as taxa. So you can just have this like rank, like kingdom is a rank and plant is a taxon. So taxonomic group of any rank. Here the taxonomic group is kingdom. It's a topmost rank and it's contain what? Plant. So that is a taxon. Okay. Then second example, division or phylum is a taxonomic rank and it contains the taxons Spermatophyta. Then similarly class Dicotyledone, then order, you know some examples many are there, Dicotyledone, Monocotyledone, etc. like order Malvaceae, Roseales, Astrales likewise. Then family also, various families you studied in the classification of Bentham and Hooker. Then next genus and then species. So in under this category you can see this is in the order of descending order. So the lowermost or basal rank of taxa is actually what? Species. Basal taxon is what? Species. So species is the basis actually. So a group of similar species constitute what? Genus. Group of similar genus constitute what? Family. Group of similar family constitute order. Likewise it is going. So one is included the other. So the basal system, the basal taxa on which everything is based is what? Species. Now in some cases there are more than different types that cannot be included in the one rank. Then how you will do it? For that there are secondary rank of taxa, that is like tribe between family and genus, section and series between genus and species, variety and forma below species. When there is large number, diverse number and it is difficult to include in the species, we will look upon the other subcategories or sub-ranks. Clear? So there are subdivisions when greater number of taxa, that is subdivision, subclasses, suborder, subfamily, subtribe, subgenus, subsection, subseries, subspecies, subvarieties and subforma. Likewise it is again divided. Clear? Okay. Now see how it is arranged. You can take an example here, and every taxa, every rank, every taxa coming under a rank will end in a particular, that's a particular ending. That's very important. Kingdom Bionda, division you see Phyta. In the case of fungi it is Mycota. Okay, subdivision ends in Phytina. Class ends in Opsida, then Algae, Phyceae, then mycets in fungi. Okay, Opsida here, Magnolia Opsida. Okay, subclass Opsidae, example Pteropsidae. In the case of seed plants, phanerogams, it is Rosidae. Ilde. It is subclass Ilde. Clear? For order it is ales, suborder Eniae, rosales, Rosiniae. Okay? Family is usually ACA, subfamily is OEDA, then tribe EA, subtribe ENA. Clear? So a particular ending. Genera there is actually not such, but usually it ends in US, UM, IS, A. On likewise it is going on. Pyrus, Allium, etc. Some examples. Then subgenus is there. Then section, subsection, series. That's no particular ending. Species also, there are categories under species, subcategories like subspecies, variety and forma. So you have to just remember these terms in your mind while discussing ranks of taxa, how it ends and what is the significance of ranks of taxa. This is very, very important. Then, while you writing a binomial, you have to remember two important things. So while writing a generic name, usually generic name is a noun and that should be written starting from a capital letter. Okay. The specific epithet, it is known as epithet. Specific epithet or species name is written in small letter, starting from small letter. And if you are writing it, if you can have underline this. Then if you are printing this, it should be in italics. So always remember writing the conditions of writing a binomial. Clear? Okay. Now, let us move on to second chapter of the division or of the rule, that is rule of priority. You know the term itself, priority. Priority means what? Actually a consideration, a first consideration. Okay. So here priority is coming under principle 3 and 4, and also there are limitations of priority. What is that? Each family or a taxon of lower rank with a particular, each family or a taxon of lower rank, below family, genus, species, everything, with a particular circumscription, description, position and rank should need only one correct name. So, okay, family or a taxon below the rank, family below the rank can have only a one correct name. That is a legitimate name, correct name. It should contain with the proper description, position and rank should contain only one correct name. That is the rule of priority. Clear? Then after identify if it is a legitimate or illegitimate. Legitimate means what? The name is with the description and it is validly published name with the correct rank assigned, then you can accept it. If it is illegitimate, it is a right to reject it. So that is a rule of priority. Okay. So should contain one correct name. So how is it to do? How you will do this naming? That is our next aspect. Okay. Now, when new combinations are made, usually some examples are there. Some plants have already named, but later by some scientist, taxonomist, study again and found that some changes in the name or this name is more apt suit than the first one, then what we will do? So in such cases, for example, Cassia alata explained by L. This is the author citation. Linnaeus described Cassia alata and this is changed to Senna alata now by Rox. So what is the, how you will name it? You can name it as Senna alata with L in the parenthesis. What do you mean by parenthesis? Bracket. Those author who published, original published. Then followed by Rox recently. Okay. Then one more thing you can see here. The first specific epithet of this name is retained here. Clear? Specific epithet is retained here. So this is also a part of what? Rule of priority. Understood? And here two authors are written here. One in parenthesis, one in followed by that. So this is known as double citation. Clear? This system is known as what? Double citation. Understood? Okay. Now, see another case. There are some plants having different scientists, different taxonomists given names, and maybe non or usually we use all these like Nymphia, Nymphia nauchali, Nymphia pubescens, Nymphia taurus, all having actually same, Published in year, you look, 1768, 1799, 1872. So in this case, priority, which one will be the correct name, which one will be selected as correct? So in such cases, if all the three are validly published, legitimate, then you have to look at the first one, that is first published name, that is the actual correct name. All others are synonyms. Clear? So first one, Nymphia nauchali 1768 is the correct name. Okay? It bears the earliest date of publication. So this is also coming under rule of priority. Clear? Next. See another one. Loureiro described species under the name Physiklum natans, a species in 1719. Clear? It is transferred to a genus Vallisneria by D. Jussieu in 1826. So first in 1719 it was Physiklum natans, but transferred to a genera Vallisneria by Jussieu in 1826. But what happened is, Jussieu ignored the specific epithet. In the first part I told you, we have to retain the specific epithet. That's the rule. So what happened here? He ignored the specific epithet. New genus Vallisneria, but actually what is one? Vallisneria natans, but he ignored the specific epithet. So he given the binomial as Vallisneria Physiklum. Clear? So this type of name is known as superfluous name. That generic name here, Vallisneria Physiklum. Okay. Now, two other Asiatic species described under the names Vallisneria gigantea and Asiatica, somewhat similar. Both are similar. All the three are similar. So later they concluded that all names are synonymous, and taxonomist Hara found no legitimate name. So he made a new legitimate name. How was it? Vallisneria natans, because Physiklum natans is first published in 1719. All others are later publications. So we have to look upon the first published one according to rule of priority. Understood? So the specific epithet also should be retained. That is rule of priority. So here Vallisneria is the new generic name. So this specific name you have to retain. So those did by Hara is correct. Then where you think, remember one more point what I told in the last slide. Vallisneria natans, in parenthesis you have to write lore, because Loureiro described this first. So Vallisneria natans in bracket lore, and last published by who? Hara. So that in later 1974. So this is the way. So when you are transferring or mixing or producing a new one, you have to retain the specific epithet that is already published. Clear? And another point, you have to keep the first published name. That is according to rule of priority. And those who are describing it later and those who are first described, both authors should be required there in the name. So first published original author in parenthesis or bracket, followed by the author who published it. Clear? Then here. This is the very important rule of priority. Okay. So you have to explain this with the examples. Understood? Clear. Now another one is the common apple. First described Linnaeus under name Pyrus malus. Common apple, 1753. But this was species transferred to genus Malus. Clear? So what will happen? Pyrus become Malus. Then what will be the name? I already told Malus is a specific epithet that should be retained. Clear? So it become Malus. Clear? Malus. But this is another when a specific generic name and specific name both same. It repeats. Specific name repeats generic name. So what will be the condition? That is known as a tautonym. Such as a condition is known as tautonym. So this is not allowed. So what happened? Two other binomial under malus available for apple is two other binomial is M.pumila and M.domestica. So one is 1768, one is 1803. Then former is the earlier one. So that is selected as M.pumila 1768. That is the that one is retained here. Because actually this have to be retained, but what is the problem is the Pyrrhus generic name changed into Malus. So Malus is a tautonym, it is not able to retain. So at the same time there are two other names for apple, that is Malus pumila and Malus domestica, from which first published one is Malus pumila. So the name of the apple is what? Malus this pumila. Okay, 1768. Understood? So this is another important rule of priority, coming under rule of priority. Clear? Okay. So in all cases you have to remember the older name, its specific epithet should be retained. But what happened here? When it retained, generic name and specific name become same. That condition is tautonym. It's not allowed. So the from other two names, the first published one, its specific epithet is retained here, Malus pumila in 1768. Okay, next. Then rule of priority. There are some very important points. Every family name should be based upon a type. Every family name should be based upon a type. We will study type. That is a special rule. Typification we will study based upon a type genus. Okay. But code allows some family name as such because they are widely used. See the examples. You know Apiaceae. It is also known as Umbelliferae. Apiaceae having the type specimen Appium. Clear? But Umbelliferae, when you read named it as Umbelliferae, there is no type like. So, but and the case of Ericaceae, Pame, Erica, here Pame. When Astraceae, Aster. But Compositae, you cannot say such a type. Clear? Here Brassica is the type, that is Brassicaceae. Okay. So, what happens in such cases? But these names are commonly used for a long years. So, when you change this according to the rule, actually according to the rule, this is not allowed because a family name should contain actually the type genus. Clear? So, but there are some exceptions that is given to here according to rule of priority. Some families that are commonly used, some alternative names are retained, and there are some other significance. These most of them are diverse and economically important. That is why it is retained. So this is also coming under rule of priority. Clear? Okay. Now, what are the limitations? Limitations to the principle of priority. Starting date. Priority rule. Rule of priority starts with the species plantarum published date of Linnaeus, that is May 1st, 1753. So the date is different for fungi, algae, brio, pterido, etc. In the case of angiosperm, it is May 1st, 1753. So publications before the date is ignored. Clear? What we in the last few slides you studied, the names published first date is considered. That is after what? Linnaeus published species plantarum, that is May 1st, 1753. Remember it. So what happened here? All the names published before is ignored. That is a very important limitation of principle of priority. Another one. So this is applicable only up to the family rank and not outside the rank. In choosing correct name over a taxon, epithet available at that rank are considered. Okay. Other are not considered. So a combination made used from epithet from another rank cannot be considered. When you are discussing changing a species, you cannot include family name here in the species name. So only that rank can be considered. Okay. Then nomina conservanda means to avoid changes of well-known families, that I already told. Some of the families, its name should be retained as such. So such a list of conserved and generic family names are prepared and published to the code. So there we cannot make any change in such a family name. That is known as nomina conservanda. Nomina conservanda. And correct name, some of them such cases, nomina conservanda, certain other names that are to be rejected, that is nomina regiscienda. So that is also one of the limitation. That is already written there. We cannot change it. Clear? So very important limitation is starting date, then only up to family rank, and nomina conservanda and nomina et regicienda. Okay. Now, so that's all about the rule of priority. So we discussed rank of taxa, rule of priority. Now, third one is the important rule is the effective and valid publication. It's coming under article 29 to 45. This is very, very important. Name must be published in a medium appropriate to the code. Okay. So that's very important. I already discussed in the principles. The name must be published in Latin. Okay. So here name must be published in a medium appropriate to the code. So up to Melbourne Code it is restricted as Latin, but now English can be used. Clear? Now, publication is effected under the code by distribution of printed material. So, publication in printed form only. But after Melbourne Code, it is also allowed in PDF form, online format. Okay. Now, it is possible to publish in PDF, but very important, if it is an online journal publication, it should be with the number international standards ISSN or ISBN. Standard book number is required. Clear? In such publication only you can publish the name. Then only it become effective and valid. So, the medium of publication is very important, and that should be according to the code and printed material, and if now it is available in PDF format online, but it should be in published in ISSN or ISBN authored book. Clear? Now, name of taxon published should follow the condition. What are the conditions? Name of the taxon must be accompanied by a description or diagnosis. Name of the taxon must be accompanied by a description or diagnosis. For example, when you are describing, you are finding out a new species or new taxon, how you will publish it. So, you will publish it in a ISBN or ISSN journal, and you have to describe the taxon in a language. Before Melbourne Code it is Latin, now it is also in English. So, that is known as diagnosis, usually Latin diagnosis. So, a description required in Latin. That's very, very important. Next, name published after January 1st, 1935 must be accompanied by Latin description. But now only up to 2012 only this rule is applicable. Clear? Now, option of English as an alternative for non-fossil organism since Melbourne Code that I already told. Then after publication after 1958 is valid only when nomenclature type is indicated. Very, very important. So, when you describe a taxon, you need to describe the nomenclature type based on which you published the taxon. Clear? So, every family I told there in a type, likewise every species you have to keep a nomenclature type. So, publication is valid after 15, those with paper publishing after 1958 is valid with only the nomenclature type is indicated. Understood? So, it should be Latin diagnosed until Melbourne Code. Now, you can have it in English also. Description is very, very important. Description and also the type, nomenclature type is also to be indicated. Very, very important. Clear? Now, the place where the type specimen conserved also should be indicated. For example, you are doing your research and you are finding out a new species, a new taxon from your research center is Surrey College, and you have a herbaria at Surrey College. Now, it is not registered. So, if it is registered, you can keep the type specimen in the Surrey College herbarium. So, when somebody from all over the world will look at your taxon, if they want any clarification, they can contact with the college herbarium and they can check it out. So, we have to usually check out the herbariums deposited in all over the major herbarias before confirming it into a new species. So, that is very, very important. So, the type specimen is where it is conserved should be also indicated. Clear? Then new names or combination published after 1953 are not valid publication without a clear indication of rank of taxon. So you have to indicate the rank of taxon, whether genus, whether species, or whether subspecies, or variety, or forma, that you have to indicate in the published paper. Okay. Then it should be clearly indicated whether it is a new genus, whether it is a new species. New genus is genera novum, new species is species nova, or a new combination, or combination nova. Nova means new. You have to clearly indicate it. Okay. Then new names have to be registered in order to be validly published after January 1st, 2000. That should be registered. There is an open database system. We discussed that in the Shenzhen code. So you have to register it. That's also very, very important. Then the coordinating center of all this is now in the Secretariat of International Association of Plant Taxonomy, currently at Botanischer Garden, Berlin, Germany. Clear? So these things you have to follow. What are the important points? Latin diagnosis, now English, then online publication, ISSN, ISBN, then clearly indicated type, and where herbarium kept, and mention the rank of taxon, and also clearly indicate whether a new genus, new species, so and so, and also require registration, database, etc. Clear? Okay. Very, very important. Yeah. See, this is a publication. This is a paper published in the ISSN journal. Its number, this is the ISSN number, this also ISSN number, online and print, both are available for this journal, and this journal is Finnish Zoological and Botanical Publishing Board 2016, Annal Botanical Journal, the name of the journal here, published date here, page number here, everything in the top. Now this is a species, Silene lenganensis, belongs to Caryophyllaceae. See, a new species from Inner Mongolia, China, that is mentioned here. This is the author's name, and this is their address, and the details of the paper received, and these are about the a brief account of the species mentioned here. See, this is the Silene, the species, there its botanical name in Latin, and rank indicated, species nova, means what? New species. Species is the rank, species nova. Type specimen here, that is written here as holotype. Type specimen, holotype, deposited place, and everything indicated here. So type indicated, rank indicated, botanical name indicated. See, date of valid publication. This is very, very important, 2016. So when somebody publishes same after 2018, which will be valid? This will be valid according to rule of priority, that you know. So date of valid publication, principle of priority. If same species will be published by someone after this date, then publication is not valid. Principle of priority, that I have already discussed, you have to remember it. Then effective publication in the journal, because everything here given according to the rule, that is ISBN, online, published, PDF format, everything given here, a diagnosis, description, then type mentioned, Latin language, everything. Then see abstract. Previously it was to write Latin, now no need. Then specimens examined, that is also very, very important, types examined. Then these are the taxonomic description, that in the coming pages that also should be given. So these are the some essential requirements for a valid and effective publication. So now it is your time. So you are going to do projects and research. So while doing research, when you are going to find out a new species or a new genera or a new taxon, you have to go through this like this. So this is all over the world. This is an internationally accepted very important rule, that is effective and valid publication. I hope you understood well. Clear? See, the taxonomic description is follows. A line drawing required, taxonomical drawing, illustration, this is known as illustration. So in illustration, all habit, then flowers, then some important specific parts based on which species distinguished, and then taxonomic key for identification. This is the taxonomic key for identification. So taxonomic key means why it belongs to dicots, why it belongs to the particular class, particular series, particular order, particular family, species, genera, etc. the key for the particular species, that is taxonomic key for identification. So, this is the description. These are all very essential part of effective and valid publication. I hope you understood well. Now, next section is author citation. What is author citation? For the in the first session, I already, while discussing rule of priority, I given the author citation. So, here for the indication of name of taxon is accurate and complete, it is necessary to cite the name of author who first published. Example here, Annona L means Annona, the genera published by Linnaeus. See, Annona squamosa by Linnaeus. Author name put after the name of the plants. Author name put after name of the plants may be abbreviated. Abbreviation. Okay, Linnaeus is L. Unless they are very short. L for L. Then decant or DC. Likewise, you can, when you go through the Gamble's flora, you can clearly observe the different authors and how it is abbreviated. Clear? Now, when a name is published jointly by two authors working together, name of both are connected by an et, or an appresent, this sign. Okay, it is wrong to use in between as the names are in Latin. If names are in Latin, actually this treatment is wrong. Clear? Kalango Cherukondensis is Sabaravo and Kumari. This is the simple used. Also, you can write et here. That is correct. So, et or this sign when two authors together published a taxon. Okay. When a name is published jointly by more than two authors, how you will? Citation should be restricted to the first one followed by et al. First one followed by et al. That is example, Ceropegia pullai Kullais, Sandhyarani and Karupusami. Three are there. For Ceropegia pullai is the species, then Kullais, Sandhyarani and Karupusami. How you will cite it? Ceropegia pullai Kullais dot et al. What means et al? There are two or more than authors also combined here. So, the first author only we mentioned, others put write as et al. Okay. When two joined by it or appresent, otherwise et al. Clear? This is also very important, author citation. Now, author citation, effective publication and principle of priority combined. See, author citation, for a name to be complete, it should be accompanied by author citation. Example, Tribulus macropterus variety arabicus Hosni. Why Hosni in bracket? Who first published? Okay, Al-Hamid and J. Thomas. See, this is the author citation. So, this will be right here as such, basic structure of taxonomic research paper, publication of a new species in taxonomic journal. Clear? So, I hope up to this we can finish today. So, whatever we studied is the effective and valid publications. First rule of priority. What are the various things coming under rule of priority? What are the limitations of rule of priority? Then what is ranks of taxa? Then how it is effective and valid publication? What are the conditions for effective and valid publication? What is author citation? I hope you understood well. So, this is very important part. So, I finishing today, and now the remaining rules we can discuss in the next session. Thank you.